The latest right now on Brock Lesnar. Is he coming back to WWE or not? We'll find out. We have the latest idea on whether or not the Beast incarnate is going to incarnate himself again in WWE. Also, we have news today on possible NXT call-ups. Those are all to cover today. An Impact champion is re-signed with a company. We have a lot to get into. And oh wait, what's this diamond mine thing on NXT? Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out! It is your Sportskeeda top story of the day. I am Kev Kelm. What is going on there? Jeremy Bennett. Give me 1 second. Let me get this graphic off the screen. There we are. How are you?
Hey,
plenty to get into today.
We're better looking than Brock anyways. So.
I don't know. I wouldn't tell him that. I would not. I would not. I wouldn't be you. You can say that to him, and then you won't have a face on your skull anymore. So that's on you, buddy. If you guys are with us, go ahead and hit the like button, all right? You're watching live, you're watching on demand, go ahead and hit that like button. Get in the comments below. A lot of comments to get into on today's video, and I challenge you to not go anywhere because we have a lot to cover and your opinions on screen. The diehards are with us, but if you're watching for the first time, I want to hear where you guys are watching from. Where are you watching from? Are you in Timbuktu? We have people in Tanzania watching this week. We have people in New Zealand. We have people all across the United States. We want to know how you guys are feeling about this big news. You saw the graphic there open the show. The latest on Brock Lesnar's return. Is it happening? We've heard about it. We heard it was happening. Then it cooled off. Then it heated up again. Now it seems like it's cooling off. Jeremy, what do we got from our friends over at Fightful?
Well, it looks like there's a lot of conflicting reports. Meltzer said on Observer Radio recently that as of Monday afternoon, nothing planned for Lesnar yet. Then we got some more reports from Ringside News. They said that his name was not on the proposed list of names for the upcoming WWE draft. So when Lesnar's name came into the conversation, it said, there are no plans for Lesnar right now, not even in discussions at the moment. Obviously everybody thinking SummerSlam, we're bringing the big guns. It's 2 months away. This is our WrestleMania for 2021. But we're not getting our big dog yet. No pun intended or no slight to the head of the table, but we're not getting one of the big draws, so to speak, at this point. And I'm okay with it, Kev. I think a little time away is kind of good, and then once we get the ball rolling again with the live crowds and everything, and get into WrestleMania season next year, I think that could be Brock time for me.
Dan texting saying they need Lesnar to sell some tickets. He would certainly move some tickets. WWE is back in the live event business. And they need to sell tickets in the cities they go to and remind people they are WWE. And that is why I think you have all these things happening here. It's worth noting that SummerSlam itself is selling very well. The last time I checked, it is all but sold out. And a majority of tickets that you will find available are on the secondary market right now, and they are moving pretty well. So WWE sold this thing out for the most part, and that's around 37 to 41,000 tickets that I could see the last time I checked on Ticketmaster. But there's going to be other events that WWE needs to move. And they also, there's a certain elevated level of, desire to see what the show can do. Both Raw and SmackDown, where Lesnar would land. Sorry for people who think you'd show up in NXT. I don't know about that. Maybe that lines up. Maybe Lesnar with his big money demands and all these different things is a part of it. I also think some of this is money. This guy has a lot of money. He's done very well for himself in wrestling, and he is very reclusive. And for the last 10 plus years, he's been able to get what he wants out of WWE on and off. What do you think?
I'm guessing he doesn't blow his considerable bank account being up in the farm up in Canada. I'm guessing he's pretty good with his money, so he could probably pick and choose where and when he wants to go. And, I honestly, I don't think SummerSlam would be too bad of a return for him with the big crowd, but, it's also probably what situation is he going to be put in, and is it going to be lucrative for him? And
yeah.
We don't know what he wants
to call his shots in that regard. I mean, he's all for everyone says Lesnar only wants to come in and destroy people. No, Lesnar's come in and done the job for people. Yeah. He came in, he did it with Drew McIntyre. He's like, I want to do it for people where I think it's meaningful.
I mean, Lashley is really putting together a hell of a WWE title reign, and And I would almost believe that Lashley would, or that Lesnar would put over Lashley, and that would just really solidify him as being one of the better champions of this decade, in my opinion.
Obviously, Lashley and Lesnar is the talked about match. Plenty on the table currently for SummerSlam. WrestleVotes always giving us big scoops behind the curtain. Behind you in that green curtain right over there is where WWE is. I don't know why you're not giving us the scoops if it's right there in Lincoln, Nebraska.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know.
So plenty of scoops there. We hear about a Cena Reigns match. We hear about a possible Becky Lynch return. The Lesnar story seems to yo-yo back and forth. Thank you for Fightful on that. I do think we will see Lesnar back in WWE in some form.
Bray Wyatt as well being discussed.
Maybe it's just something where they're like, do we need Lesnar? Do we need him? And can we save him for after SummerSlam too?
You got Edge too. I mean,
but also like they're saying there is no discussion. It's just if we can get him signed, then we'll talk about it. Yeah. So I think especially with a very expensive commodity like one Brock Lesnar, I could see that there.
I wonder if they're just kind of jerking us around a little bit too, and really wanting to make it in the age of social media, it's hard for that special surprise. Maybe they're kind of jerking us around, and maybe there is a big surprise coming in the road to SummerSlam. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. Do you want to talk about this? Impact Wrestling. I know some people say they're not at the top of the wrestling heap. WWE, AEW, back and forth, New Japan. But Impact has had a great year considering the pandemic. Their partnership with AEW has been very fruitful. Moose had a fairly competitive match against Kenny Omega for the Impact World Championship. Not successful. Shenanigans for all the people that want 5-star classics out of Kenny Omega. You now get 90s era WWE heel antics.
Overbooked City.
Yeah, you overbooked City. There are too many angles at the end. There is no vacancy for Overbooked City. Still a fun match, but it did seem to overcooked. I still enjoyed it. I thought Moose proved himself to be still quite the athlete. As much as people want to get on Moose and say, oh, he's just light on personality and he can't get it. I've heard people be critical of him. It's like Moose can get it done. When that bell rings, Moose can go. This guy is doing some insane things.
I've been following the guy since Ring of Honor, and I thought he would be a bigger star by now. But there may have been some things that held him back before signing with Impact. I know WWE wanted him, then they kind of didn't want him. But I tell you what, that main event with at Against All Odds with Kenny Omega was tremendous outside of the Elite getting involved again. But it was cool to see it in Daly's place. It was cool to have Tony Schiavone and Scott D'Amore on commentary, having Tony do play-by-play, and then having, of course, the great heel manager Don Callis on the desk as well. I thought it was a great atmosphere and a great match. Just that end was, yep. NWO era WCW finishes right there. Baby.
Well, Moose has re-signed with Impact Wrestling. That is the big story from here. There's been a lot of debate about whether or not he would stay with the company. It was even teased before the Against All Odds match to kind of throw something on it. But the word going around from several outfits, including Wrestling Inc., is that Moose is staying with Impact. I'm surprised. I thought maybe he would be a little bit on the move. He certainly had if you were WWE or AEW, obviously I think if you're with AEW, there's a possibility you could do both right now.
Yeah.
But obviously it seems like there's a little bit more fruitful rubbing of hands in AEW, possibly if you're there. And how would he figure into the mix there? How would that fan base on Dynamite, greet him? It certainly would be interesting here. He's a talent. I think there's still a ceiling on him, and he's still at an age where he still has a lot of great physical years left in his career. And I also think he can exceed all those expectations, all those critiques of different things with him. He can do better than, and I think he's definitely proven that in the last year, even in a pandemic on top of it too.
Yeah. He's evolved into a great heel. I almost kind of liken the persona, like, ever since he's feuded with EC3 and they had that great cinematic match. I can't remember what pay-per-view it was, but he's kind of embodied that EC3 kind of evil persona ever since they've kind of had that feud, and it's kind of worked. And I tell you what, whenever they turn him babyface, he could definitely be one of the top draws within the company.
Once again, if you're with us live, go ahead and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. Every Monday night, we have Vince Russo going off on Monday Night Raw. Vince Russo has been going back and forth with Eva Marie. Eva Marie, one of the more talked about people on Monday Night Raw. And he continued to do that. They had a little bit of an exchange this week about the San Francisco Giants. And now Russo believes that the questionable booking of Eva Marie in WWE is because of his interaction. The Russo fears that maybe, bro, maybe I'm getting her in trouble, bro.
Are we blaming him? Are we going to blame Russo then for this?
We're going to start selling Blame Russo t-shirts. Yeah.
Blame Russo for the name, the Dewdrop name. And
but go check it out. That episode is up now. We also have a fresh episode of Smack Talk with Dutch Mantel, where he digs deep into his great legacy in professional wrestling. And also, what is the latest with Roman Reigns and this ever-evolving family drama with the Usos, and why is it one of the more compelling stories that WWE has right now? Those episodes are up right now on our channel. You can also get them as a podcast. Go subscribe on our podcast channel. I just dropped a new episode, a new long-form interview with Vito Tomaselli, veteran independent wrestler Vito Tomaselli, talking about his brand new cartoon project. Oh, and Frankie Monet of WWE NXT. NXT will end our SK Top Story of the Day video today. We have something very special from them and what they may do. But the Frankie Monet interview, you guys need to listen to this because we learned the origin of Johnny Drip Drip. We learned the origin of Johnny Drip Drip. All of that for you watching right now, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube, go check it out. It's going to be up there right now. Check it out on our video channels. Lot to get into with that and well worth it here. So let's get into what is going on with tonight's WWE NXT. We have some big matches. Kushida, Kyle O'Reilly in action. All right. You're a hardcore wrestling fan. You want your bell to bell. WWE's giving it to you with the NXT.
Frankie Monet back in action.
Frankie Monet is going to have an encore presentation of her world premiere, which I thought was just such great wrestling phrasing. She laid that up for us as well in this interview. But I do think a lot of fans want to know, what is the Diamond Mine? Diamond Mine has been teased here with vignettes that basically show a diamond circular logo. And it shows a gym where people are training. The diamonds are being mined. What is this? This has been teased on television mildly, but the vignettes have gotten bigger and bigger, building to tonight's reveal. Some people have said it's Tessa Blanchard signing with WWE. All right, she's the diamond in the rough. Okay, it's not Tessa Blanchard. All right,
no.
We've heard people say, "Oh, well, this is a new faction of some kind built around somebody." And you said that you think it's Roderick Strong and Marina Shafir, his wife.
Yeah, I think it fits the MMA kind of mold, especially with Marina. I feel like it's a faction that's led by Roderick Strong, and it's going to have Marina Shafir and maybe a couple other up and comers, just like the way where you have Indy Hartwell, a kind of an up and comer, and then you had Austin Theory, who kind of was really up high under Seth Rollins and kind of rebuilding him, and so I kind of feel like it's going to be kind of like a babyface version that's going to feud with the Way. That's kind of my guess. But then you put a bug in my head that made me think, oh, maybe you're right, Kev.
Mm-hmm. It could be NXT's version of Raw Underground. We were reported about this. We have people saying Nishad to us saying it's Paul Diamond. That is a deep 80s wrestling kind of, if I've ever heard one. Our very own Jose G, who's fighting those storms off.
What's up, Jose?
He's fighting storms left and right here down in Florida. He says Parker Bordeaux.
I think he's too green. I think he's too green.
We haven't even seen him wrestle yet.
No.
But Parker Bordeaux is a well talked about social media darling.
Baby Brock.
You notice Baby Brock. If you just Google Baby Brock, he'll pop up. And he's a young, very, very young college football player that WWE recruited. This is a guy who went on social media and said, I want to be in WWE. I look like Brock Lesnar. I want to match with Brock Lesnar. And if you see a picture of him, it's astonishing how much he looks like Brock Lesnar. And he got the kind of the old thumb approval of Eva Marie for his social media stirring of pot. All right. And now here he is in WWE with a contract in NXT. Good on him. So it's interesting here. Now, here's what I believe it could be. And I don't mind being wrong. We'll find out in a few hours. Maybe by the time you're watching this, you'll know. I think this is going to be a new sort of Raw Underground style segment, as I mentioned. We heard about WWE filming some type of pilot that would be NXT Evolve. and that it would be some type of kind of show that was like a Fight Club vibe that would foster other people that are in the NXT roster that you do not see on television, that are at the Performance Center, that are training, that are there, that are under contract, and maybe they're featured on 205 Live, or maybe they're doing some enhancement stuff. But what do you do with them, and how do you make them special? How do you give them a platform that gives them value? And I believe that is what this could be. This isn't a group. This isn't a specific star. This isn't it. This is a platform. This is a place where people can go.
Find the diamond in the rough.
Find the diamonds in the rough. The diamond mine is the Performance Center. And so they will find their diamonds here. Dan texting and saying, Tessa Blanchard would be cool. There's a built-in storyline with her and Charlotte. I agree. But I think that you're buying a lot of heat if you bring in Tessa Blanchard. I'm telling you that right now.
I see what you're saying, though. You could put, it's basically a fight or flight. You put them on live TV, see how they do, see how social media reacts. And, and if they do well, then you keep on going with them and progress them and eventually work them into NXT.
Shout out to fans watching in Abu Dhabi. We have people watching in Botswana. That's incredible. So if you're watching for the first time, even if you're on demand, let us know where you guys are watching from. Give us your predictions, your thoughts, especially if it's already debuted by the time you watch this, about what is going on with Diamond Mine and WWE NXT. A lot to cover. There's just a lot of moving news right now. I assume we'll get some more big news in the weeks to come about what WWE is doing with their live events. I think Money in the Bank is going to be interesting. Do you feel like WWE was kind of in a holding pattern and here was this big thing to keep you happy, and it's a big red candy, licorice red cage for you to pay attention to?
It was the
Money in the Bank.
It was the best Raw in a long time last night.
I really, really enjoyed Monday Night Raw. I thought there was some consequence, even though you knew Xavier Woods was going to get in that big cell with Lashley, that the idea was, well, Kofi, if you want me, I'm going to have to beat up your friend inside of a cage. Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Well, that's elbow really drop evil. By Woods. Elbow drop was so nice.
It was really nice. And Lashley gave him a lot more than he needed to in the cage, but also you sign up for a Hell in a Cell match, you're going to get hurt. So that's part of the deal. And good on Lashley for working 2 of those 2 nights in a row. I thought it was a fine weekend by WWE with SmackDown, all those different things, but some questionable reasons of why are Hell in a Cell matches on TV? These are supposed to be pay-per-view things. These are supposed to be cool. But I guess this is what happens when you serve some very demanding partners on both television networks. Also worth noting, these weren't really promoted really in advance. No. Even on Sunday night, they didn't say, we're going to do another Hell in a Cell match tomorrow night. We just learned there's going to be another Hell in a Cell on tomorrow night's show. We don't know what it's going to be. They could have done something as simple as that. I don't even think they didn't even mention this before the show aired on Monday.
It was because people were like, I think I caught a glimpse of the cage when Raw started on Monday. So the people kind of had an eagle eye there and noticed that. And, I think it's probably, when they did the throwback thing last time on Fox, and Fox kind of sprung that on them really quick too. So it's probably a thing that Fox sprung on them to see what they could do with ratings and such. And I mean, it really didn't move the needle a gigantic amount. They still were under 2 million. But it's still cool to see stuff like that on TV every once in a while, though.
If it does well with the demo, considering the playoffs, I think that's more the success than anything.
Playoffs.
You're talking about playoffs.
Playoffs.
One of the greatest sports clips of all time. You can give him a follow. Where can they find you, Jeremy?
I am on the Twitter at JB Huskers. You can also follow our podcast, Lost in the Midcard. It is on the Twitter at LITMC Podcast, or go to litmcpodcast.com to get our podcast and our YouTube links as well.
You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Kev Kellum. Lot going on for me on the radio 5 days a week, 2 big cities. All right, a lot going on here from the Thunder Zone. I will be live on stage at Riddle's Comedy Club June 28th. I will be at Lindy's and Gertie's in Summit, Illinois on June 28th. June 27th, I'll be at Riddle's Comedy Club. June 30th, I'll be at Zany's Comedy Club. The weekend of 4th of July in Aurora, Illinois, I will be at the Comedy Shrine playing 3 comedy clubs in 1 city in 1 week. plus all the podcasting, plus all the radio, and a very, very frustrated girlfriend. So I appreciate it, babe. If you're out there, I love you, and you're very patient. The roses are already bought. So, great. Now I gotta buy roses. so there we are.
Alexa, buy roses.
Great stuff. Hope you guys are doing well. Stay safe. Get your shots. Get your tests. All right. Wear your mask. We're almost there. We're gonna pick that big nasty. We got that big nasty giant of this pandemic year. We got it above our head. We have it in, as Hulk Hogan described it, rocket position. All right, so we have it ready to go, and we're gonna slam it down and have a great summer. Thank you so much for supporting Sportskeeda Wrestling, spending your time with us. It is time that we appreciate. We're with you here with the top story of the day every weekday, right around 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. Jeremy, I think you know what you're supposed to tell them. When they're watching wrestling, what are they supposed to do again?
You gotta enjoy wrestling.
Give me one more. Give me it's the two words are the most important thing. So Jeremy, there's two things. There's one thing I got to do when I watch wrestling. It's a 2-word answer. What is it? What exactly is that?
Enjoy wrestling. Yeah.
There we go. You threw in the